Hello everyone, welcome to my gold and silver update. I'm JR. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be doing a long-term analysis on the gold and silver market as well as the US dollar. We're going to make this kind of quick here. And what we're going to do is anytime if you guys see my technical analysis, you'll always know that I always draw my lines from the bottom of the lowest range. This is the lowest range that I have here in this chart. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw the line here from 250. That was the price of gold back in 1999 when this market took off. That 11-year, a 13 or 14-year bull run before it came down and we had a little bit of a correction here. Now what we can see is that the gold has found a level to respect. And I think that's very positive for the gold market. We saw this level here being tested here. We saw the level being tested here as again over here and here. So as of right now, what do I see in the gold market? I see a market that's consolidating a bit. Okay. We saw here that we formed a little bit of a wedge. Broke out of that wedge, came back, tested the wedge. And technically speaking, when you break out of a wedge, you just see higher highs and higher lows. That is the definition of a bull market, higher highs and higher lows. Bear market would be lower lows and lower highs, right? So again, broke out of that wedge. And currently, what do we see here? We see a little bit of a triangle, right, between here and here, right? So there's your triangle here, which followed this wedge, right? So again, we do see that the gold market is attempting to go higher. And what we don't want is we don't want the market to create another low. If you look at this market, we are creating, let me take this off here. We are creating a low, a higher low, and another higher low. So as long as we continue to do just that, creating higher lows and higher highs, we'll be fine. Now, with that said, this is a triangle. So again, remember what a triangle is higher lows and lower highs, right? So high, lower high, low, higher low, higher low. Now we're looking for the breakout. I would assume that this is what we're going to be looking for. We don't want this. We want this right here. Okay, that's the monthly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart here. Again, the weekly chart looks like the weekly chart is probably looking to consolidate a little bit. It's obvious that we are looking for that the sellers are within this range here. That's very obvious. Every time we see this $13.50 range, we just drop, and every time we see this trend line touch, the one that I had here previously, let's just call it right here, we see the market bounce, right? So again, the good thing is that this level here has been tested a lot more times than this trend line here. The more you test a level, the more likely it is that you're going to break it. So again, we have, I can count the candles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 5 candles trying to break below this trend line, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's call it around 15 candles, 16 candles with this one trying to break through the upside, and about 5 or 6 trying to break down through the downside. I would assume that this will break faster than this one will break. Again, that's just based on technical indications. And if we look at the daily market, I think that gold is going to find some support here. That's what I think. I think this is on a short-term level. I think this is a great time to buy right here. 1280 between 1275, maybe between 1270 all the way up to current prices right now, 1290. And we're looking to create a higher high over here, right? We're looking to come back and test this level here. That'd be a great short-term, great risk reward. If this thing breaks, then we'll probably be looking to, we're looking for the market to hold here again, higher than this previous low. So we would look for the low to be somewhere around over here. All right. Let's look at the silver market. Okay. All right. And silver, what do we see here in silver? Let's look at the monthly chart here. All right. So silver again, trading in at these levels over here. Obviously, every time we see these levels here, we see big moves to the downside, to the upside, right? So anytime we see this level here, the $14 range, the high $13 range, we see big moves. This is very positive for silver. this level over here. Okay, why? Because we have a really nice bullish engulfing candle, engulfing 1, 2, 3 candles that preceded it. And now we look for this market to come back over here, make one buy, and then seeing if we can take this market back over here. But I mean, we can clearly see that silver has really broken every possible trend line that we can possibly have, right? To bring this thing down. So even, I mean, it doesn't really matter where I go from here. It's broken every single one. Remember, these trend lines should push silver down, right? And what we're seeing is just tremendous support between the $13 range and the $14 range. Hey guys, listen, if we see a market crash, is it possible that 13 can see below $14? Absolutely. I think it'll be short-lived. You saw here that when we saw during the 2008 housing bubble, you saw that the market dipped pretty decently, right? But it had very good support, and I think that's very possible, and I think that's something that we all need to make sure that we pay attention to. You know, if the stock market crashes, which I think if you're not expecting a stock market crash, maybe you're not really paying attention to the market. But you know, there's no market that goes from 6,700 to 27,000 the way the Dow Jones has. You have an increase 4 times, of fourfold, right, within the last 8-9 years. And if you don't expect a market crash after a move like that, then I don't know that we're looking at the same charts, right? So with that said, it is very possible that we can see a big move to the upside, let's say from gold or silver. Let's say silver goes back to the $19 area, $18 area. Then we have some sort of a correction on the stock market. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a dip back down to the $13 or $14 range, maybe even lower, right? But again, I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting this market to continue to respect all the lines that these precious metals markets have been respecting, like gold, for example, on that upward trend line, and silver respecting this $14 range. So again, with that said, I do like silver right here. This is not, I repeat, this is not the time to sell. This is the time to accumulate. And again, anytime you look at a market like this, you have to say to yourself, okay, high $49, low $14, right? Do you want to sell here? Do you want to buy here, right? So my suggestion is that you're buying at the $14 range, and you're also buying if we see this level here. I'm not saying that I'm anticipating the market to go down to this level. What I'm saying is that if we do go down to this level, I think it'll be a blessing in disguise, right? So again, that's the monthly chart. Let's look at the weekly chart here for silver. Silver, we got out of this range here very, very nicely. Remember last time we got out of the range, look what happened. Market went up, came back down, tested this level, and then huge move to the upside. Here's the range again. We're currently testing this level. I think a move to 1487 is a buy. You buy, you put a stop loss just under the low, maybe around 1360. If you get stopped out, man, you really can't, think about it, can't get upset over losing. Again, buying at a multi-year low, right? With a chance to bring this thing back up to $50. Ultimately, like every other market out there, what do I expect from silver? I expect this line. You see how these lines get really small? Look how this big move from $7 to $14 became almost insignificant, right? When we fast forward, right? Look at that move. It's almost nothing anymore from here to there, right? And I think that's usually what happens to all markets. The moves are big during the time, and then they become nothing. So again, you had to move from here to here. And again, once we saw the breakout, this move became very small. And look at this giant move. Look how small it becomes. Again, it's over here, and now it gets even smaller. And I think eventually that's what's going to happen to this silver market, right? I think eventually in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to have this market come down really, really, really small. This move is going to become very small, and then you're going to see the big move to the upside. And at that point, I would assume that we're going to see minimum $120 to $150 prices. I would actually dare say that we'll see $150 prices. But again, you have to understand these technicals for you to really understand why I call $150 to $200 on a silver, and 3 to 4, 5,000 on gold. Okay, that's your weekly. Let's look at the daily chart here for gold. I mean for silver. Again, trading just above these ranges. I really like these ranges to buy. Again, we came out of the range with a really nice move to the upside. I would buy here all day long. Stop loss at around 13 and a half. And again, we're looking to take this thing back up to the $20 range and much higher than that. Definitely, this is the time to start accumulating again. If you took a break from accumulation here because of this giant dip, this is the time to start accumulating. You're at a multi-year low, and again, you want to buy at lows, you want to sell at highs. That's about it. Let's look at the, actually, you know what? I'll squeeze in the US dollar. And the US dollar again, we have a little bit of a squeeze here to the upside, broke down. You're still seeing the big candles down to the downside, but again, the dollar is making its move to the upside. I would assume again that the market is going to find some resistance up here. Okay, we're going to find some resistance and then eventually drop and create lower lows. Okay, and then continue its decline. So again, the US dollar. Let's look at the monthly chart here on the US dollar. So again, the US dollar. This is what I call a broadening formation. Broadening formations are very bearish, and you see this broadening formation took place over here, created a lower low. I would assume that the market is going to try to make a lower low and come back down here eventually, all right, and breaking this lower trend line as well. The dollar's not looking too good, guys. This is a very ugly formation versus pretty formations that we're seeing here, especially in the gold market. This is a really nice bullish market, and it looks like we have found some support over here. If you're not, this is the time to continue to accumulate, especially if we come back down here to this 1250 range or maybe 1225. Definitely a great time to accumulate. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, give us a call, and we'll see you next time.